Rockport Center for the Arts will be transforming their annual studio tour into a spring art fair. Featuring 30 local artists, the event will be held at the Fulton Convention Center and includes a 2-day show, Saturday and Sunday, April 17th through 18th. Today we are speaking with an artist who will be showing at the Spring Art Fair, Eric von Seibert. Recognized as an accomplished metal artist, von Seibert creates vibrant and impactful pieces capturing abstract landscapes, pop culture icons, and interpretive designs. After majoring in the arts at the University of Houston, he also taught at the University of California in San Diego. Today he lives on Key Alegro Island in Rockport, Texas, and Maui, Hawaii, and concentrates on his unique style of metal art. Hi, Eric. Thanks for joining us today.
Hello.
So you are originally from Southern California, and you you came down to Texas to the University of Houston for your art degree. What brought you down to Texas?
Well, my father was in the newspaper business, and he got a job with the Hobbies. They owned the Houston Post, and he moved to Texas. And at the time, I was born and raised in San Diego. I couldn't imagine moving to Texas. I thought my life would be over. I was 17 years old, right?
Sure.
So finally, I ran out of money, and I used to have a little Porsche. I still have Porsches, but I used to have a little Porsche. And I called my dad up. I go, I'm hungry. He goes, you got to come down here, son. So I got in my car. I drove all the way out to Texas, and I had the time of my life.
How did you make the decision to go out to Maui? I'm sure there's better surfing out that direction.
Yeah, I mean, that's primarily it. Maui is really the arts center for the Pacific Rim. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of art buyers that come from Europe and Japan and all parts of the United States. Besides the fact, of course, Maui has the most beautiful beaches and the most outrageous surf. I mean, we have Jaws in Maui. We have one of the biggest waves on planet Earth. Not that I ever surfed Jaws, but we just have incredible surf there. And in 92, I had been teaching for University of California at San Diego, UCSD. I was teaching art, and we had the LA riots. And I'm like, what am I doing here? And I'd already been to Hawaii several times. I had friends out there, and I just sold everything and split, Okay. And I ended up spending 30 years in Hawaii. I've lived on all the islands. I've lived in Oahu, Kauai, and Maui. I've never lived on the Big Island, but spent a lot of time on the Big Island, scuba diving too. My wife and I sail and scuba dive. We're both dive masters, and we actually met scuba diving. So the Big Island has the nicest scuba diving, right? So we do a lot of water stuff, right? Mm-hmm. So, and I mean, there's hardly any place on planet Earth that's better than Hawaii. I just got back. I've been there for the last 2 weeks. Okay. I just got back, and it's actually opening up right now. I mean, it's really starting to kick in. I mean, it's been closed for a year. All my galleries closed there.
Oh, wow.
I was in 5 different galleries in Hawaii, all the finest galleries. Mm-hmm. And one gallery I was with has been open for 40 years, and they've actually closed for good.
Oh, that's so sad.
It's tragic what's happened because of COVID in Hawaii and of Texas. And my wife was born and raised in Maui.
Oh, okay.
And when I first brought her here, she didn't know what to expect, but she loves it so much down here. And it's because of the wonderful people. I mean, it's just so beautiful down here. We love to fish, and it's just all the beautiful birds, and it's just a gorgeous place. I don't think you guys appreciate it enough. So I mean, I
Absolutely.
like San Antonio too. I like to go up there to the river walk and everything. And
Right?
I
Okay.
grew up in San Diego, so I love Mexican food, right? So
Yes, definitely.
I
Definitely
have
love the
I had
Mexican.
to do a 12-step program down here for Mexican food.
Oh,
Uh,
really?
yeah, I was gaining so much weight down here. I was like, I had to, you know, uh, stop eating Mexican food for a while. It's just so good.
It is
It's
very good.
did neon for 25 years, and I'm a neon master, and I know how to create a a complete neon laboratory from scratch. I mean, I can hand make a neon lab, which is a lost art. And I was hired by University of California to create a neon art program because it's a lost art.
Mhm.
And uh, I had worked for some of the biggest companies in the United States, Federal Signal Corporation, and some other big companies. And I'd done big Vegas things, and I've done a lot of environmental art. And in the process of doing that, I got to work with a lot of different materials. When you're doing a lot of environmental stuff, you're working with all these plastics and just all the cutting edge stuff. Uh, everything has to be light and strong
Mhm.
because you're hanging it.
True.
So we did a lot of work with aluminum, and they started discovering that if you use a brush on aluminum, you can make swirling effects. And you'll see that in a lot of airports, a lot of signage in Vegas and stuff where they'll do designs in the aluminum, right?
Sure.
And uh, I became interested in that. I love the fact that it threw the light in different directions. When you're doing neon art, you're actually creating light.
Mhm.
And when you're painting, you're actually reflecting light.
Mhm.
That's what different pigments reflect, red or reflect blue.
Mhm.
With neon, you're actually creating the light. And I became just engrossed with aluminum because um, aluminum, if it's ground correctly, and I experimented with a lot of abrasives.
Mhm.
Uh, I, 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 I understood uh, internally how to throw the light in different directions. And I experimented with a lot of different abrasives and found that uh, diamond abrasives actually cut the aluminum where most abrasives that you can buy on the market actually smear the aluminum, right? It smears it.
Mhm.
So aluminum is a very porous material. Like you can't really touch it with your hands. It'll soak, the oils will soak in from your fingers. It's like a sponge.
Mhm.
Get any oil on it, it's wrecked, you know. So there's a lot of technical challenges to what I do. And the uh, you know, some of the final things that I figured out was how to actually create 3D effects with the aluminum. And
Mhm.
on my big dishes, that's what I do, these big 48-inch kind of concave dishes. And then people actually walk up and they put their hand in it. They think
It's gonna be at them.
it's just so three-dimensional, it just blows your mind.
Mhm.
And that's all done with diamond abrasives. And
Wow.
the actual colors that I create are all dyes. And I worked with a company that does a lot of custom paint. And it just so happened this guy's in the Porsche club. And I was doing a lot of Porsche paintings. And we actually developed some different, he's just a chemistry genius, and he helped me develop some different dyes so that the aluminum can really throw the light and through these colors.
Right.
And we use a lot of technology to make this stuff. I mean, it's not as easy as just buying some brushes and some oil paints and smearing some pigment on a canvas. I guarantee you, there's a lot to it.
Right.
And I don't make how-to videos or anything like that. It's taken me years to
To develop.
perfect this stuff. So
That makes
it's
sense.
all proprietary, right?
Yeah, when I was first looking at your work, that's the very first one of the first things I noticed was like, is this like colored sheet metal, or is he actually coloring the metal on his own? So that makes perfect sense. That's amazing.
People aren't really interested so much, especially I'm selling a lot of stuff up in Dallas right now, and the galleries up there aren't really interested in Maui type art. They want more geospecific stuff to Texas. I
Right.
understand.
Right.
So I've been actually just upcoming art fair that we're doing. I'm doing some palm trees, some Texas palms, which I love palm trees. And I also am doing a wind blowing oak.
Okay.
And um, I'm also going to do some more pineapples because everybody wants the pineapple.
Everybody
So
loves pineapples. Exactly.
yeah, they did. The next sold in Maui, I've done them in so many different ways, you know.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, you
you
actually
know,
sold one for the Rockport Center for the Arts auction. I think you had
yeah, we
created
did.
that.
And,
Yeah.
you know, I visited uh, some friends in Pittsburgh. There's a famous artist that's been a friend of mine for many years, and he lives in Pittsburgh now. He was in Maui, and I was visiting, and he said, "You know, the Warhol Museum is here." I'm like, "Really?" And he goes, "Yeah, he's from Pittsburgh." And I'm like, "I never knew that." And so his wife and I and him visited the Warhol Museum, and it's 10 stories of Warhol.
Wow. Wow. That's
And
amazing.
I'm just like, I'm a total color person. I mean, I can almost taste color. I mean, I get excited by color. I really, you know, I guess probably from years of doing neon or working in environmental art or whatever, but I just love color, you know, and
Mhm.
I don't like boring colors.
Right. I can see
And
that.
that's what's so exciting about Warhol, you know. I mean, he was so out of the box, you know. So I started really, it really influenced my work a lot, and I really started, uh, you know, doing a lot of Warhol like art on the aluminum, you know, uh, and when you actually include the 3D effects and these extreme colors that I can achieve that he could never do that with screen printing. I
Mhm.
mean, it's exciting. I mean, it really is, and it's been very successful commercially, also. You know,
With some of those pieces that you have done that were kind of a reference to Andy Warhol, I've noticed that a lot of those have kind of Hawaiian cultural references. You know, one it has like spam, and then you have the pineapples. So, what is kind of talk about your inspiration on that subject matter and just tying it all together?
Sam's the national or state meat in Hawaii, but when I was a boy, uh, my dad would take me and my little brother to the beach, you know, and we'd get up really early to go surfing,
Mm.
and he'd like, "Don't wake your mom up," you know, and we'd get up and he'd open a can of spam and fry it up with some eggs, you know. It'd be dark, and we'd load the boards on the car, and you know, it's just I love my dad a lot, and you know, his influence on me. And my mom loved the beach too. My mom used to take us to the beach, but it was something about the smell of that spam frying in the morning,
Yeah,
and
I can
and
imagine.
it is loved in Hawaii. I mean, everybody. I mean, they serve spam at McDonald's.
That's
So
what I understand.
yeah, yeah, I know. Spam is like it's a it's a it's part of the culture in Hawaii. But no, I do a lot of. I've actually been doing some large flowers that are just selling like crazy in Dallas.
Yeah, I love
I
hibiscus, the
Yeah,
hibiscus
well,
as
the
well.
hibiscus, I've actually sold 3 of those at
Mhm.
15,000 a piece, and I'm doing some also a huge orchid,
Mm.
uh, which I'm really having fun with. I love orchids. My grandmother used to raise orchids, and there's many orchids in Hawaii.
Mhm.
And so I have a commission for a big orchid. I mean, the flowers are going crazy in Dallas. I guess florals are super hot up there. Uh, the hibiscus format was big in Hawaii. I mean, the thing about hibiscus is they come in different colors. Most people don't realize that, but they come in yellows, oranges, reds, white, pink. I mean, there's
Mhm.
a lot of fun colors. So uh, people sometimes commission me to do those. They have a super 3D effect. Some of people like them in silver,
Mm.
but they're difficult to make. They're all hand cut.
Right.
And if you notice in the film, you'll see the edges are very rough,
Mhm.
just like in nature.
Right.
These aren't, done by machine or something. They're all hand cut, and they're they're time consuming.
Mhm. I think so.
But I love them, and I'm really looking forward to doing a lot of the orchids. So many wonderful natural colors and uh, patterns on orchids. So I'm excited about exploring that, and you know, probably who knows? I'll probably end up doing some roses for Texas or something. I don't know. But
Right.
it's a thing I'm kind of focusing on right now. In fact, I'm working on two of them in my studio right now and getting ready for the show. I've got a big pineapple piece. I'm gonna have four pineapples on it, and then I've got a really cool couple of palm tree pieces. I think three of them. So I do these little palm trees with like a Y saying on the side, and that's always been popular. And so I'm going to do a couple of those for the show. They're going to be a
Mhm.
lower priced piece of art.
Perfect.
I understand that in Rockport, I'm not going to be probably selling these $15,000 or $20,000 pieces, and that's okay. I just want to be a part of the art community down here, and make some affordable pieces too for my community down here. And
Mhm.
I'm really excited about the art center. I mean, I've been coming down here since 2004, and we've always had the yearly art show,
Mhm.
around the beach.
Right.
But I'm really excited about what Luis is doing. I mean, it's just a fantastic person to have in charge of this stuff. He's just doing a wonderful job, and I'm really
Absolutely.
excited about the future of art in Rockport. It's going to be a cool show. I
Yeah.
appreciate you uh, giving me a chance to be in it.
Sure. Yeah. Absolutely. All right. Well, thanks so much, Eric, for joining us today. We appreciate it, and we look forward to seeing your work in the future.
Thank you very much for your time now.
Right. Bye bye.
Aloha.